Hello everyone, let's learn about naming variables. Python 3 provides you a lot of flexibility with respect to the set of characters that are allowed as part of a variable name. You don't have to just restrict yourself to the English language characters. For instance, you're allowed to use acute E, which is a non-English character. An example of such a variable name would be Kyoro underscore cafe, which has an assigned Boolean value of true. I cannot possibly go over the rules for all such allowed characters. Instead, I'm going to give you conservative rules which, when followed, will guarantee that you can find good variable names. Before we move on to the conservative rules, I want to offer a recommendation based on PEP 8 style guide. It is recommended for you to not use camel case with respect to Python 3 variable names. What exactly is a camel case? When you want to combine two words to form a variable name, you'll be capitalizing the first character of the second word in order to combine both of those two words together. The recommendation is that you should be using an underscore to combine the two words to form a variable name in Python 3. An example for that would be first underscore score as the preferred variable name in Python 3 as opposed to first score where S is capitalized. Let's go over three conservative rules for variable naming. Rule 1 states that you should only use alphabets, lowercase or uppercase, along with numbers and underscores for your variable name. Rule number 2 states that your variable name should not start with a number. Rule number 3 states that you should not use Python keywords as variable names. Examples would be and, or, false, true, and so on. I have a few set of examples here. Let me go over the good examples first. Good variable names would be CS220, where CS is either lowercase or uppercase, CS underscore 220, and underscore CS220. I have a set of bad variable names listed here. Please pause the lecture video here and match the bad variable names to the corresponding rules that are being violated. Write a comment in the comment section giving the matchup that you were able to find. 220 class violates rule number 2. That's because it starts with the number 2. And violates rule number 3 because it's a Python keyword. Pi 3.14 and X exclamation violate rule number 1 because they have dot and exclamation point as part of the variable name. There are certain words in Python which are not considered as keywords but have special meaning. Examples of such words would be int, str, float, bool, list, class, and so on. You should never name your variable after such special words. That is because you'll be redefining the meaning of that special word, which can have unpredictable consequences with respect to bugs in your program. You definitely don't want to have the overhead of debugging such an issue. So please stay away from using names which have special meaning in Python as your variable names. How can you find out whether a particular name has a special meaning? You can open Jupyter Notebook and type in a word. If the color of the word changes to green, then you should stay away from using that word as a variable name because it has some special meaning in Python. At the end of today's lecture slide deck, there are a lot of additional practice problems for you to go through on your own time. I will not be releasing the code for these problems. I'm going to instead go back to the float and boolean demo which we skipped as part of the previous video. Let's go over the float demo first. The float demo is all about compound growth. We are going to initially invest $1,000 and our yearly rate of interest is going to be 7%. Let's say that we are sustaining the investment for 30 years. If so, how much are we going to have at the end of the 30-year period? Let's define meaningful variable names for this problem. I'm going to define start, which is going to contain a value of 1000. Then I'm going to define interest, which is going to contain a value of 7. Finally, I'll be defining years as 30 here. Since you initially started with 1000 and you have an interest rate of 7, after year 1, your earning is going to be, final equal to start plus start into interest divided by 100, correct? So your interest rate is 7%. So you're going to end up with $70. But you need to combine that back with the original investment as you're going to sustain the investment. Let's take this expression and simplify it. I'm going to take start outside and I'm going to say start into 1 plus interest divided by 100. That's just a simplification of the original expression. So this is going to be the earning after year 1. So if you want to get the earning after year 2, you'll have to take this multiplier and repeat the multiplication one more time, correct? So let me take this multiplier and define it into another variable name. I'm going to call that as yearly multiplier. And let me use the variable name for the computation here. So if I want to know the earning after year 2, I'm going to have to multiply the yearly multiplier variable another time, correct? So if I want to know the gain after 30 years, I'll have to repeat this multiplication 30 times over, which is really cumbersome. The easier way for you would be to have yearly multiplier here raised to the power 30. So that's what I'm going to do here. So I'm going to say yearly multiplier to the power years in order to get the result of the final earning after 30 years, which is going to be $7,612 and few cents. Let's move on to the last demo for today's lecture, which is going to be Boolean demo. This is going to be a very simple demo. We are going to perform bounds check on the value that is contained within a variable. The bound is going to be 0 to 100. And based on whether the bound is satisfied or not, we are going to display you may continue true or you may continue false. So let me define an age variable with an initial value of 10. The bounds check itself is very easy, correct? So I'm going to say 0 less than or equal to age less than or equal to 100, which will give me a Boolean value. I'm going to capture that value into a variable called valid. Let me first print valid alone. Looks like we are getting true, which is expected. What if I change age to 110? We are now going to get false. That's good. So what if I wanted to add the you may continue string in front of the valid? Notice that we are getting type error. That's because I'm trying to concatenate a string here with a variable which contains a Boolean type. So you need to use what is called as typecasting to a string for printing the result of valid variable here. I'll wrap up today's lecture here. In the next lecture, we are going to discuss further about typecasting functions and functions in general.